Before we start the recap, remember that Jujutsu Kaisen 0 takes place after Gojo's past arc and before Season 1. Now that that's clear, let's recap everything from Jujutsu Kaisen 0. The story begins when Yuta is cornered by bullies, but Rika suddenly manifests as a monstrous, grotesque spirit and violently maims them. The higher-ups in the Jujutsu world see Yuta as a threat and order his execution. However, Satoru Gojo intervenes. Instead of letting them execute him, Gojo decides to help Yuta learn how to control his power. Gojo recognizes Yuta's immense potential and believes that with proper guidance, he can become a powerful sorcerer. Gojo brings Yuta to Tokyo Prefectural Jujutsu High School, hoping he can learn to control his cursed energy. When Yuta enters the classroom, his presence unsettles everyone. Rika's terrifying aura makes the students uneasy and they attack him. Gojo then explains to Yuta that curses are born from negative emotions, causing thousands of mysterious deaths across Japan each year. Sorcerers fight curses with curses, and this is what they learn at the school. A flashback shows Yuta's childhood with Rika, his best friend. They had promised to marry when they grew up, but Rika died in a tragic traffic accident. Her death traumatized Yuta, and her spirit became bound to him as a cursed entity. Gojo reveals that it was Yuta's love and grief that cursed Rika, binding her to protect him at all costs. Rika's loyalty is so strong that she attacks anyone who threatens Yuta, even when he does not want her to. After Rika attacks them, Yuta's classmates are introduced. Maki Zenin, a fierce fighter with no cursed energy. Toge Inumaki, who speaks in rice ball ingredients because his words hold power. And Panda, a sentient panda with a big heart. Maki harshly criticizes Yuta and his attitude. Panda and Toge tell her to stop. On Yuta's first mission, he and Maki are sent to a haunted school where two children are trapped by a vengeful spirit. Gojo lifts a veil and leaves just the two of them. Small curses attack immediately, but Maki easily defeats them. They enter the building, and Yuta is scared the entire way. Maki notices that the curses are hiding and finds out Yuta is a special grade sorcerer. Then a giant powerful curse appears and swallows them whole. Inside, they find the two children. Maki is injured and faints, and Yuta freezes in fear. The children beg for help, and Maki criticizes him, asking why he isn't doing anything, but encourages him to act with courage. Yuta puts on his ring and consciously calls upon Rika's power for the first time. While Rika annihilates the curse, Yuta carries Maki and the children to safety. Later, Yuta becomes determined to confront the curse. Meanwhile, a mysterious man finds Yuta's license. The higher-ups question Gojo, demanding to know why he hasn't executed Yuta yet, but Gojo stands by him. Later, Gojo gives Yuta a sword to help him channel cursed energy. 3 months pass, and Maki continues to train him intensely. Yuta begins to change. He learns teamwork, grows stronger, and slowly opens up to his friends. By the end of this period, his classmates accept him, and for the first time, Yuta feels like he truly belongs. One day, Yuta and Toge are sent to the abandoned Haipana shopping center to exorcise lingering curses before demolition. Gojo instructs Yuta to control Rika's power only through his sword. Before they enter, Toge buys throat medicine. Inside the dark mall, they are attacked by fish-like curses. Toge uses his cursed speech, shouting "explode," and destroys them instantly. But a semi-grade 1 curse appears. Toge's next command exhausts him, and they have to retreat. Toge wants to handle it alone, but Yuta steps in, channeling Rika's power through his katana with swift movements to strike the curse. He gives Toge back his throat medicine, and Toge uses his cursed speech, shouting, "Break into pieces!" The curse explodes. Afterwards, the two share a small high five of mutual respect. Meanwhile, a mysterious man watches them. Back at Jujutsu High, Yuta reflects on how far he's come. Meanwhile, Gojo senses something off. The curse they fought was summoned by someone. The focus shifts to Suguru Geto, a former Jujutsu sorcerer and old friend of Gojo's. Geto now leads a cult and believes non-sorcerers should be exterminated. He wants Rika's power, the Queen of Curses, to fulfill that goal. One day, Geto confronts Yuta directly and tells him his goal: to kill all non-sorcerers and create a world for Jujutsu sorcerers. Gojo arrives and asks him to stop. Geto mocks Yuta's friends as weak and disposable. Angered, Yuta swears to protect them no matter what. Other sorcerers arrive as well, and Geto reveals his plan: the Night Parade of 100 Demons, a massive curse attack across Tokyo, Shinjuku, and Kyoto. When Gojo tells him they won't let him leave, Geto demonstrates his terrifying strength. A quick flashback shows the rift between Gojo and Geto. Geto's true objective is to kill Okkotsu and absorb Rika. On Christmas Eve, Geto goes in the school while Gojo and the others fight to contain the chaos. At the school, only Maki and Yuta remain. They talk about her past. Maki reveals that she can't see curses without glasses, uses cursed tools, and was treated as an outcast by the Zenin family. She became a sorcerer to crush her clan. Their bond deepens. Then Geto appears. Maki confronts him, but despite her bravery, he defeats her easily. Gojo, realizing something's wrong, sends Panda and Toge back. They arrive and fight Geto together. At first, Panda fights alone until Toge arrives and uses his cursed speech, shouting, "Fall!" They think they have defeated him, but Geto rises with curses, overpowers them, and injures all three. When Yuta arrives and sees his friends nearly dead, fury and grief overwhelm him. He calls out to Rika. Together, they easily overpower the small curses and save his friends. Rika becomes jealous of Maki, but Yuta shouts at her to stop. Rika begs Yuta not to hate her. Yuta attacks Geto using Toge's cursed speech. Meanwhile, sorcerers across Japan fight the curses and quickly slaughter them. Gojo battles Miguel and his black rope in an intense clash, fighting across the buildings. At the same time, Yuta and Rika fight Geto intensely. Geto uses curses but cannot stop Yuta. Yuta attacks with his sword, channeling cursed energy which breaks through and strikes Geto with a black flash. But this is not enough. Geto combines his 4,461 curses and uses them as an Uzumaki. Meanwhile, the Kyoto students also fight hard against the curses. Todo rushes to defeat the curses because he needs to watch Takada-chan's Christmas special at 8 p.m. Yuta, with a desperate vow, says to Rika, "I'll give you everything, my body and soul. Fight with me. I love you." Rika's full power is unleashed in her monstrous form. Geto attacks with Uzumaki, but Yuta counters with a massive surge of energy born from his bond with Rika, overwhelming and fatally wounding Geto. After the battle, Gojo finds Geto alive but dying. He returns Yuta's license, and the two old friends share a quiet, bittersweet moment before Gojo ends his life. Later, Maki, Panda, and Toge wake Yuta. They thank him for saving them. Yuta, wanting to fulfill his promise to go with Rika, sees her switch to her human child form. Gojo reveals the truth. Yuta and Gojo are distant relatives, and it wasn't Rika who cursed Yuta. Yuta had cursed Rika out of love and grief. Realizing this, Yuta releases her spirit and begins crying. Rika thanks him for letting her remain with him, expresses that she was happy with him, and says goodbye, leaving behind her engagement ring as a memento. Yuta remains at Jujutsu High, stronger and more confident. Gojo reassures him that Geto would have attacked them anyway, so it wasn't his fault, and returns his license, mentioning it was brought back by his only best friend. Months later, the story ends with Yuta training in Africa alongside Miguel as Gojo comes to visit him. If you want more recaps like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what anime you want to see next.